and welcome to Friday Funday on Around Kansas. I'm Michelle Martin,
And I'm Deb Goodrich.
and today we are going to share with you some amazing places to eat and drink in Kansas.
So the picture behind me today is a plate of pan-fried chicken. And this is from the Work Street Social Emporium in lovely downtown Utica, Kansas on Highway 4. And the owner, Mark Bauer, is legendary for his fried chicken. I do have to admit, and I grew up with some wonderful cooks, I do believe it is the best fried chicken I have ever had.
And today, my background doesn't scream food, but it comes from the community of Wamego, Kansas. And anyone who knows their wine in Kansas knows the OZ Winery in downtown Wamego. And we'll talk about that a little more later.
So, one of the reasons that we're talking about food today, other than we like food, is that my son in law, Andy Obermiller, is starting a new magazine, Astra Eating. And this is to highlight those little out of the way places all over the state of Kansas, all around Kansas, that have terrific food, great drinks, and are just wonderful little places to visit. So Andy is launching that magazine this month. So we will share that website with you and watch us on Facebook because we will keep you posted on how you can find that magazine, buy it, subscribe. And I have to admit that I do have a little article in there, and Michelle is quoted in there. So we are all about nepotism, people. You know, nepotism makes the world go round, and we're all about it. It's all about who you know. Fortunately, we know a lot of cool people.
We do. And, if we can figure out technology, we might even be able to, once the magazine gets rolling and Andy gets a little bit of a breather, we might even be able to bring Andy in and let him talk to us about what it's like to start a magazine in Kansas, which you and I have experience with, Deb, from your days in Topeka and the Kansas Journal of Military History. Wow.
Yeah,
So
it was a lot of fun. I failed at so many things that were fun.
it was a grand time. As a matter of fact, I would say that working on the Kansas Journal of Military History is one of the things that took the two of us together, along with your daughter Noelle, on a lot of trips around
Yeah.
Kansas to take photos. And that's how we discovered the Oz Winery in Wamego. And fell in love instantly when the first bottle of wine I picked up, the label, the wine was called Witch in a Ditch. And I knew at that point, wow, if you're a wine lover, seriously, folks, if you are a wine lover, the Oz Winery in Wamego has some of the best wine in Kansas, and they have some of the most creative names. Run, Toto, Run, Blue Gingham Dress, Ruby Slippers. I believe they have one. Flying Monkeys. I mean, these folks have come up with the greatest names for their wines, but they are incredible. I believe we did a little sampling when we were there. Excellent wines. And so when you are driving along I-70, get off the beaten path, go visit them in Wamego, go to the Oz Winery. You can also go to the Wizard of Oz, the museum. They've got an Oz museum downtown. The park, which you see behind me, has some historic buildings, and the park is beautiful. It is absolutely
Yeah,
gorgeous.
it's stunning.
It is just this amazing little gem. Wamego is one of the most charming towns in Kansas, and it's kind of right in that gateway to the Flint Hills. And what I love is you get that great mix of shops, but you also get eateries and wineries. And it is a fantastic little day trip if you're in the Kansas City or Topeka or Lawrence area. Or if you're from Manhattan, you can head east on I-70. So definitely go ahead and spend some of your Ad Astra eating dollars in Wamego at the Oz Winery.
There's so many places, it's just hard to know where to start. So again, let nepotism rule the day, and I'm going to share some of my favorites with you. So here in Western Kansas, in Oakley, where I live, one of my favorite places to visit because it's on the way to the Fort Wallace Museum, where I am the Garvey, Texas historian in residence, is the Winona Cafe. And that is some of the best food. Get there early because it is always crowded, but it's always families and the smell of steaks on the grill. And it is just so good. And ironically, that little place in Winona has the best fried shrimp, best fried shrimp. Say that fast 5 times that I have had since I've been in Kansas. It is wonderful. They are another one of those family owned businesses. They're just such great people and wonderful food. And blue cheese dressing, oh my gosh, it is so good. I go in and I get a steak or a hamburger steak or something and a double salad with double blue cheese dressing. And I honestly, I could make a meal off the blue cheese dressing. It is so, so good. So visit the Winona Cafe and tell them we sent you.
Deb, speaking of cheese, our
Yes.
diehard Kansans, when I say cheese, you'll know what town I'm thinking of in the Flint Hills. Alma. Oh my goodness. Do yourself a favor, folks. When you're out exploring Kansas highways and byways, definitely stop off in Alma and visit the Alma Creamery. It is known for its nibbling cheese, and you can get a nice vacuum sealed package of their nibbling cheese, these lovely cheese chunks,
Cheese curds.
cheese curds. I love the fact they're not all uniform in shape, but oh my goodness, that is some of the best cheese I have ever had in my life. And in the days before I realized I had celiac disease and was allergic to gluten, you also get the most incredible baked goods at the Alma
Yeah.
Creamery as well. The pies, the cookies, but the cinnamon rolls and the sticky buns and the cheese. It is fantastic. As a matter of fact, I can remember doing many a Kansas Flint Hills photo shoot when I was doing freelance photography. And I always made sure that I was able to work out my breakfast stop in Alma because I could get a cinnamon roll and cheese. And I'd throw the cheese in a cooler in the car. And I would have the cheese was what I ate the rest of the day while working because it was quick and easy to pop in the mouth. And so do yourselves a favor, visit the fine folks in Alma at the creamery and sample that cheese and those baked goods.
Man, there's just so many great places to stop and eat around Kansas. I'm getting hungry, so I'm going to take a break real quick and grab a drink. We'll be right back.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org. Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
And that is a pan of cinnamon rolls behind me. And that is from Camis Vintage Diner in downtown Gove. And Cami and Damien are dear friends. And I'm telling you, nobody works harder and is more talented than Cami is at feeding her friends and neighbors. So I highly recommend that you get off the beaten path and visit Gove, Kansas. It's not really that far out of the way. If you turn south off of I-70 and head down there, Gove County, once you pass the Gove County line, you'll know that you're close. So stop in and see Cami and tell her that I sent you. You will love whatever she's serving that day. I guarantee you, you will love it.
And you know, Deb, behind me, now that we're back from break, is downtown Lecompton. And you know, you and I, we both have a long history with Lecompton. In particular, we both have been involved in historical events and activities there in Lecompton for many years. Our good friend Tim Ruiz is the director of the Constitution Hall State Historic Site, and our good friend Paul Bonmeyer at the Territorial Capitol Museum. But I can remember days in Lecompton when you would want to make sure you ate in Topeka or Lawrence before you came to Lecompton. The only place you could grab anything would be Kroger's, Kroger's Meats, something quick. But now Lecompton, little Lecompton, birthplace of the Civil War, is becoming a food spot. And it started with Aunt Netter's Cafe. And Aunt Netter's has a fantastic menu. I was actually at Aunt Netter's in the very early March of 2020, before life came to a grinding halt because of COVID. I was delivering the last in the Bleeding Kansas lecture series at Lecompton. And I made sure I arrived in Lecompton early enough, set things up so I could go to Aunt Netter's, and had a phenomenal grilled chicken salad there that was to die for. Everyone who goes to Aunt Netter's goes away full and happy. And they have a wide variety to their menu. It's healthy, it's fresh, and it is absolutely tasty. Everything is wonderful. So the next time you're looking for a historical adventure, go visit Lecompton. Visit the small recreation of Fort Titus. Visit the First Democratic Headquarters, Constitution Hall, the Territorial Capitol Museum, and then go over to Aunt Netter's and have a cup of coffee with a cinnamon roll, have a salad, have a burger, have a sandwich. Everything is wonderful.
And they've got another new business in Lecompton now, don't they?
Yeah, Deb, actually, there's another new business. It happens to be a winery. Imagine that, more wineries in Kansas. It is called Empty Nesters, and it is started by a couple who are now empty nesters and wanted to do something different. And so they have a winery, and I love their website. If you look, just Google Empty Nesters in Lecompton, Kansas. They have a podcast. So you hear their behind the scenes
Cool.
about their life running a winery. They interview individuals in Lecompton. They talk about the history of Lecompton, the town, the community, what it's like to run a winery. And again, they have wine tastings and samplings. They recently opened a little area outside for some outdoor seating to help with spreading people out, because we need a little more social distance between ourselves until we get COVID under control. So they've adapted to that. But yeah, Empty Nesters and Aunt Netter's, what a great combination. You've got a great restaurant, a great winery in one of the most historic towns in all of Kansas.
That's fact. Another little place that I'd like you to check out, and of course you probably already know about it because it is legendary, and that is Kate's in Dodge City. And again, another family-owned business. And you better get there early at lunchtime to get a seat because they will be packed. And the menu, you've got enchiladas and hamburgers, and they serve beer and the best fries. And it's maybe one of the best enchiladas I've ever had. That they are so, so good. And again, it's all family run and has been there for a long, long time. It is legendary in Dodge City for good reason. It's there south of the tracks, downtown Dodge City. You cannot miss it. If you can't find it, ask anybody. Stop anybody on the street and ask them where Kate's
Yeah.
is, and they can point you the way. And if you happen to see our friend Brent Harris on the street, he has his own little photo hanging over a booth there. So I know that he knows the way to Kate's. So make sure you stop in next time you're in Dodge City. God, there's so many great places to eat in Dodge City.
I know. I mean, especially with, the beef industry in Kansas. That's one thing that we have no shortage of is fantastic beef in Kansas. And Deb, for folks who, if you decide to go to Lecompton and visit and take in ant netters and empty nesters, you can continue east. And obviously, you come to Lawrence. And I would be remiss if I was geographically speaking this close to Lawrence. And if I did not mention my two favorite places in Lawrence, the first, and they are both downtown on Mass, the first is Free State Brewing. That is probably one of my favorite places to eat. It always was one of my favorite places to go watch a KU basketball game. As a matter of fact, when KU won its last national championship, I was at Free State.
I was
And
at Henry
then
Keys that night.
we just, spilled out into the street to celebrate. But Free State Brewing is fantastic.
The cheddar ale soup, the cheddar
Yes,
ale soup at Free State. Oh my goodness.
amazing. And then
Yes.
just go a little further down Mass. And I know, Deb, this place is near and dear to your heart as well.
Mad Greek.
The Mad Greek. Oh
Mm.
my goodness. As a matter of fact, when I came to speak at Lecompton in March of 2020, I stayed in Kansas City for a few days. Then I came to Lawrence and I stayed at the Eldridge, but I had to go to Free State one night to eat. And one afternoon, I went to the Mad Greek with a good friend of mine who came up from Oklahoma for my lecture. And I said, I've got to introduce you to the Mad Greek. And when we were done, she said, that is some of the best food I've ever had.
It really is.
Oh, the
It really
Mad
is.
Greek. If you like Greek, Mediterranean food, do yourself a favor and go visit the Mad Greek. It is fantastic. And it's one of those must-eat places in downtown Lawrence.
Another family-run place, great
Yeah.
atmosphere. Yeah, it's wonderful. Because of Andy's working on this magazine and mentioning it to me, another one of our favorite historic locations is Lincoln, Kansas, and that's where Andy lives. And there is a new restaurant in Lincoln, and I cannot wait to get there because Andy keeps posting these wonderful meals that he's having, and it looks so doggone good. And that's the Post Rock. And I think it's actually up on the highway. It's not downtown. I think it's actually up on the highway. But again, Lincoln is not that big, so I'm sure that you can ask anybody there. But he says it is fabulous. So I can't wait to get to Lincoln. And of course, have been a part of, was a part many times of Lincoln Days. And there's
Lincoln
so
Days.
many cool things there. And the local museum is wonderful, run by really sweet people. And then you've got the little Girl Scout Museum and the Pharmacy Museum on Main Street. So there's a lot of neat things to do in Lincoln and fabulous restaurant to go with it. So win, win, win.
Folks, if you haven't figured it out, Deb and I know how to combine history and food and or wine. So we can help you eat, drink,
And be
and
merry.
eat, drink, and be merry from one end of Kansas to the other, from east to west, north to south, and everywhere in between. And we can get you hooked up with the best history.
Isn't that a fact? It goes hand in hand. All those places with great history somehow manage to have great food too. So, one of the things talking about beef, the Sale Barn Cafe in Wakini, and John he opens for meals on Sale Barn Day, which there is Tuesday. So he opens, I don't know, around 10 or 11 or something, and then he closes an hour after the sale is over. So that might be 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It might be 10 o'clock at night. So you just have to take your chances. But he's doing a regular steakhouse a couple other nights of the week. So check out the Wakini Livestock Cafe. What does he call it? It's the Sale Barn Cafe at Wakini. So I will post that link on our Facebook page too, so you can figure out what time he is open. And a lot of those Sale Barn Cafes all over the state, I don't care where you are. Andy's always talking about the one at Sylvan Grove and how good it is. That's open on Mondays, and he's always going up to get the rhubarb pie. So almost every one of them just has a fantastic cafe. So you could plan your trip around to do lunches at the sale barns, and you could eat well all week long.
Well, yeah, definitely. So you would not only be able to eat well, but you would be able to take in history and, let's face it, folks, incredible scenery wherever you go in Kansas.
So that's it, because I am starving now and I've got to go find something great to eat. And we will again share with you how to get Andy's new magazine at Astra Eating. And if you've got one of those little out of the way places in your community that you'd like to tell us about, just send us a message on Facebook or from our website. I think our emails are up there. If they're not, they will be. So we'll take care of that, but we'd love to hear from you.
Well, we hope you enjoyed Friday Fun Day, and we hope you're now hungry and ready to travel and spread your Ad Astra dollars all over Kansas and help out our mom and pop community restaurants.
Amen, sister. I'm Deb Goodrich.
And I'm Michelle Martin.
And we will see you somewhere around
Kansas.
Bye-bye.
Howdy, I'm Seth Hayes, and welcome to my hometown, from then to now. Council Grove has a rich history as deep as the prairie tall grass. Spend the day visiting 25 historic sites, or explore the unique shops and restaurants, or mosey out of town along the Santa Fe Trail. You all visit my hometown, Council Grove, in the heart of the Flint Hills.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.